collapsed. Under cover of darkness, the defenders rebuilt them. The Turks fared no better by sea. Their first attempt to capture the Golden Horn ended in disaster. Christian galleys showered them with burning arrows. Many ships were lost, along with 12,000 men. Enraged, the Sultan had his admiral deposed and flogged, and distributed his possessions among the Janissaries. As dawn broke on April 22nd, the Christians in Constantinople witnessed an act of sorcery, boats sailing on land. Since Mehmet's ships could not get past the chain guarding the Golden Horn, they would go around it. With horror, the Christians watched as the Turkish fleet slithered into their harbor. Bukri Haydar knew the great assault was coming. His spirits soared. Allah would make a special place in paradise for the first Muslim to set foot in Constantinople. All night, the Janissaries prayed and celebrated.
1 hour after dark, the Turks began to light a terrifying number of fires, much greater than they had lit on the 2 previous nights. But worse than this was their shouting, which was more than we Christians could bear.
At dawn, they heard a chilling sound. The Janissary musicians beating out the march of attack.
When the next day came, the cymbals began to sound and the pipers and trumpeters joined in, giving the signal for assault.
After several hours of desperate fighting, the first wave gave up, exhausted. The Sultan turned to his Janissaries.
My Janissaries, my children, you have shown your bravery wherever I have campaigned. Now, it is through you that the city will be captured.
All now hung on them. They advanced, not rushing like the others, but keeping their ranks in perfect order in the face of arrows and stones, unbroken, undaunted.
The Sultan himself rode out with a great array of troops. He chose to fight in front of the breach in the walls with a contingent of brave young Janissaries, and there were more than 10,000 of them, fighting with the courage of lions.
Vying for glory, the Janissaries hacked their way through the breach. Christians were pitted against the Christian-born, now fighting for Islam. The cry went up, "The city is taken." Having won honor, the Janissaries now sought plunder. Decades later, the Turks would still refer to men who owned wealth above their station as one who took part in the siege of Constantinople. The Sultan moved the Ottoman capital to Constantinople, renamed it Istanbul, and ushered in a golden age for the empire. Mehmet built a magnificent palace called Topkapi. In its outer courtyards, the Janissaries trained. The empire grew ever larger, the demand for soldiers still greater. The Sultan needed more troops than the tax on Christian boys could supply. By 1600, Turkish citizens were recruited into the Janissary Corps. Soon, most were not converts like Bukri Haydar, but native Muslims. The esprit of the Sultan's slaves was broken, their loyalty corrupted. For the next 3 centuries, the Janissaries dominated not the battlefield, but the court, fabricating intrigues with the women of the harem and plotting to assassinate sultans. In 1826, when the reigning sultan tried to abolish the corps, the Janissaries revolted. The sultan retaliated by wheeling his cannon up to their barracks and opening fire. Most of the Janissaries were killed. The rest were taken to the public square and executed. What the Sultan had created, he destroyed. An army of slaves serving no one but him.